Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and tripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who got 'em who rockin' on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah, we got 'em.
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. My internet's already being stupid.
Is it really?
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Happy Monday on this glorious hot-ass day outside.
Air conditioning's in here, buddy. It's like 68.
Well, I got the AC on now, but I mean, god damn it, man, it was hot outside.
It got up to a balmy 71. My bad. I just looked at my thermostat. What the fuck was that?
Chugged milk and beer before the show started.
Oh, that's right. The milk. What's up, Marshall, Matt, Rock and Bangle. Oh, and Jerome just popped in. And Stranger. What's up, guys? Thanks. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Tell all your friends. For like Christmas. It's a good gift.
So I did see something before we get into head coaches. I saw something about it's Pro Football Focus. I don't know who was the author of it, if it was Jay Morrison or if it was somebody else. But the worst free agent Bengal signings of all time. So number one, Antonio Bryant.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? I can't really disagree with that one. He never played. He got injured. They paid him like what? $30-40 million.
I don't know.
Yeah, wasn't that the year we signed T.O. also? I think it was. He never played a single down for us.
I bet you T.O.'s on that list. I didn't see the list, but
No. That was the year. That was the year 2000, 2010. We got Antonio Bryant. We gave him that big contract. Then we signed T.O. And that after that crap season, that's when everything went apart and we got Andy and started all over in 2011.
Pick a guy, Greg, you think's on the list. I didn't see the list. Did you?
I'm not going to look at the list, but I can do this. Another one would have to be Sam Adams, right?
No. He was a big run stuffer. He was an older guy at the time. He was not on there. Okay. But Antonio Bryant was first. There's four other ones.
James.
I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of cheat. I did see this. I didn't know you were going to be ready.
Oh, he saw the list. He saw it.
Yeah, you can't guess if you saw the list.
Once again,
well, it was the last time I saw the list. I don't remember the exact order it was in or anything.
Is James Harrison on the list?
He's not. And see, he probably would be.
He was a horrible sign. He didn't do shit.
No, and then he went back to the Steelers. It was pretty decent.
He did. So. He's ops. He came in spied on us for a year.
Number two is Lavernius Coles, and I don't know if he deserves to be that hot. I get that he wasn't that great, and he was older, and they had lost Hushmanzada. But I think that's part of it, right? It's like, oh, you went from Hushmanzada to Coles. And
I was happy. I don't know. He didn't do anything wow, but I think that's a little harsh just for 1 year.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. And then number three, I'd say could even be number two, Trey Waynes. And that's a more recent one. He was just hurt the whole time. He never played. Got a shitload of money. Yeah, I mean, but at the same point in time, like,
right.
Damn. That's a bust of a signing, you know.
That could have been a great, and still this day, he could have been a much-needed player on this team right now, especially with this cornerback position.
Irv Smith, is he on there?
Yeah, Irv Smith, I could definitely see on there.
No, he probably could be. Number four is Antoine Odom, and I know he had that one game where he had like 5 sacks.
Come on, man.
I thought he was decent. Yeah,
that's not like. Yeah, that's harsh too. I'd have to go back and look. The problem is the Bengals don't have a history of signing free agents like that.
Right.
If you want to go to bad free agent signing, look what Washington did when they gave what's his name that DT who couldn't even pass the physical challenge test or whatever. That's a bad signing.
Yeah. And I mean, Odom wasn't a game changer or this or that, but he was decent. Like anytime you get a decent free agent signing. And then Preston Brown was 5.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like
I mean, he led the team in tackle, but that guy couldn't tackle. That's when we had like the worst tackle. I know he was a local kid. Everybody's like, "Oh, he led the year in Buffalo in tackles." Look, just because you lead in tackles, you know, he wasn't. But no, I could see Preston Brown.
Yeah, I definitely think James Harris and you can make an argument for that. And I'm sure there's several others if we went back and looked at all the free agent signings. But if we just off the top of our head try to do a flip side of that, a lot of these would probably be recent, right, of our best free agent signings.
Hainsworth, yes.
Is Trey Henderson probably not the best free agent signing we've ever had so far?
That's a good point. I'm trying to think. That is
Sure,
right.
DJ Reader. It's close between him and DJ Reader, man. It's close between him and Reader.
Until this year, when Mike Gesicki gets 1,000 yards.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess you could trade, but DJ Reader, man, was gosh,
DJ
man.
Reader too. You're right.
I know people would say Trey's the one, but DJ Reader, man, I'm still think it's Reader.
I don't know.
I think I would go with Trey, but I would put Reader in my top 5, and then I'd also put Mike Hilton in my top 5.
That's true.
I was going to say he was not a free agent signing. I was going to say Nelson, but he was not a free agent. He was a trade. I was getting ready to say Reggie Nelson, but no, he was a trade.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to think. I'm
you
trying
could
to
even
go back.
Like I know John
Thornton.
Like John Thornton wasn't maybe like super impactful, but I think like he was one of those guys who helped build a culture a little bit, with Marvin and when nobody wanted to sign here.
Dhani Jones was a good signing for us.
That's true, yeah.
He tackled the globe, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't like
it's true.
Trey Henderson, DJ Reader status, though. He was really good, though.
No, but yeah, he definitely held down a linebacking spot for quite a while, much needed.
And he had an elite bow tie game.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
Oh yeah, what's up, buddy? I could definitely say this one too. AJ Hawk. I mean, it was a 1-year signing, and I guess he played, but he was definitely not like the AJ Hawk we were hoping.
Who was that guy? He bounced around. He was on the Cardinals. Then he went to the Browns. He came out of Auburn. He was a linebacker. He was going to be a veteran presence for us. He didn't do anything for us either. You know who I'm talking about? I think it was the year 2017 we got him.
Odell Thurman?
No. Oh, shit.
What the fuck is going on there?
It was on my phone.
The hell was that?
Something on my phone.
Is that Greg's fucking OnlyFans with the thick women?
Pretty much.
Yeah, what if it just started playing like porn sounds,
Right, Greg.
Actually, I was listening to something.
Phone blast on. It's just like,
Hey, CEO's back. Dustin Croft, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, buddy. This guy's driving me
going to read it,
nuts.
Chop? I thought you were going to read it.
Oh, okay. Dustin Croft with the $5 super chat says, I think there's a misconception in the front office. Didn't tackle free agency in the Marvin area. If you go back, we made great moves and trades. A lot of this list comes from that Marvin Lewis era. Not Trado. Or Reader.
Yeah. I definitely think like that Reggie Nelson trade and stuff like that was really good moves.
And at cocksucker Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took some big swings with like some character guys, and some of them panned out and some of them didn't. Yeah.
Now the Steelers are doing it.
Yeah, I can't find him on here, but yeah, he was a linebacker, bounced around. He was just it was a typical Marvin Lewis era signing. He was at the end of his prime. No, was James Harrison, was he a bust for 1 year signing?
What did he do?
Well, he did have an interception for a touchdown, but there was a holding call.
That was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I definitely.
There's no holding call.
I was at that game. It was against Cleveland.
All right. Man, I was excited to get his ass, though.
Oh, I was too.
As we get into head coaches, speaking of Marvin Lewis and head coaches around the league now, try to rank them. Is Zac Taylor top 10? If you just asked that question, how good the Bengals have been lately, you would think automatic yes. I mean, I kind of did. I've seen a lot of lists where he was like 12th. But then you start looking into it, and like his win percentage, I know a lot of this is going to be based off his first 2 years. Right. His win percentage is like in the under 500, and there is
Doesn't
a bunch
count.
of coaches above 500.
That
Yeah.
doesn't count
So-
because how many of these coaches? What's the percentage they went without their starting quarterback? So let's factor that in there too. I mean, and last year he won a lot of fucking games with the backup quarterback.
But every team deals with that, and I mean, there's a lot of coaches on here that have dealt with that. I mean, in general.
Also, Zac
but
Taylor is a
we'll
god.
kind of dive into some of them.
He's also a god, Dale.
So you're just putting him at number one. He's just
Him and Ed
number one
Orgeron.
to you?
Yeah, him and Ed Orgeron.
It's not on this list.
No, but he should be.
So, yeah, they have Andy Reid at the top of this list. I think it'd be hard to argue that, right? Like this one here is a Pro Football Focus. Dallas Robinson, who I think works with Jay
Yeah,
Morrison a lot.
He does a show with
So
Jay.
that's kind of what we'll jump with this, and where we agree or disagree some. I don't have any disagreement here with him ranking Andy Reid number one. He has fourth most league history regular season wins, second most playoff wins, and he's now won 3 Super Bowls.
And the dude he was on fire in Philly, winning coach in Philly, just couldn't get the job all the way done, and then went to Kansas City, and there's no argument there. That's like arguing Joe Burrow and Pat Mahomes at this point. You know what I mean? Pat Mahomes has got 3 rings on, so he's the man.
To say, it's like Patrick Mahomes. He's at the top until he ain't, right?
Exactly. To be the man, you got to beat the man, which I guess Joe technically did 4 times, right? 3 times. I don't know. But Andy Reid, stellar
Got to win the
coach.
Super Bowl.
I don't think. Now, let me ask you this though, Andy Reid. They're like, hey, fans, we're going to do a swap out if you want Andy Reid for Zac Taylor. Do you take that trade this season?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I guess so. To be honest with you, people are going to kill me. Who's number 2 on my list? I think Mike Tomlin's on my list. I'm sorry. Guy's been a head coach since 2008.
Are you fucking kidding? He can't do shit. He took Bill Cowher's team and won a Super Bowl.
I understand that, Chop, but he still had a winning. He has never had a losing season.
Doesn't matter if you can't get the fucking job done, Greg.
He's been consistent, though.
He's Andy Dalton of coaches. He's the fucking.
He has won a Super Bowl. He has won a Super Bowl, and
with Bill Cowher's team,
and he went to the playoffs 11 times, and he's never had a losing record.
Let me ask you this, though.
That's impressive.
Would you rather have a coach that never has a losing record or a coach that has an up and down record and wins a Super Bowl for you? What coach do you want?
He has won the Super Bowl, Chop.
Not anymore, though. That's with Bill Cowher's fucking team.
It doesn't matter whose team it was.
How many years has he been a head coach?
Dale, let me ask you this. Tubby Smith for UK. People just say, Tubby Smith won because of Rick Pitino's players. Do you agree with that statement?
Pretty much.
Let me ask you this:
because he sucked after.
How many years has Mike Tomlin been?
Tomlin
the head
hasn't
coach
sucked though. Tomlin has.
How many years has he been the head coach at Pittsburgh?
Since
I don't know
2008.
off the top of my head, I mean,
2008.
Yeah.
Whatever.
2007.
Multiple years.
And
so he won he won a Super Bowl with the team he inherited from Bill Cowher. And every year after that, yes, he's had a winning record. And yes, he's went to the playoffs, but he can't get the job done. That would have been like saying, let's just keep Andy Dalton here forever. He gets us to the playoffs every year. Despite the Super Bowl, I understand he won a Super Bowl, but it wasn't even his team. It was like when John Gruden inherited the Tampa Bay and won a Super Bowl. Didn't matter. It's not his team. Yeah, he got a Super Bowl, but the fucking backup quarterback got a ring too. You know?
I get what you're saying. Like Barry Switzer, when he took over for Jimmy Johnson, they will tell you he never got credit for that Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, Mike Tomlin, I don't think is a bad coach, but he has not proven he can get the job done with his own team.
He's still all right. Maybe all right. Number 2.
Not 2.
But I'm just saying. He is a top 10 coach, no doubt. No, he's a top 5 coach, no doubt. I'm sorry.
I would agree that that's kind of where I was at. So on this list, so we'll continue with this list. So they have Sean McVay at number 2. Yes, he's won a Super Bowl. Yes, he's considered this great offensive guy. He's 70-44, so over 60% win percentage. Still a fairly young guy. I don't think I have him over Mike Tomlin personally.
I do. Just because
But
the Super Bowl.
I get Mike Tomlin has one too.
It doesn't matter. Mike Tomlin did it with Bill Cowher's team, though. He came in, took over.
Man, the NFL is year in, year out. You've got to get your team to the Super Bowl and win it in the NFL.
Yeah, you still got to get your team. I'm sorry.
Well, he ain't done anything since. But neither Sean McVay.
Neither
Sean McVay. Sean McVay ain't done so. Well, Sean McVay went to 2 Super Bowls, right? And won one of them.
Yeah.
Because he went
and they weren't expected to be that good last year and went back to the playoffs. Thing? That was the big thing.
What's that, Derek?
I thought Tomlin been to 2.
I'm pretty sure.
Thinking that?
I'm pretty sure he's been at least 2.
I think Mike Tomlin is up there. He's kind of Marvin Lewis-esque. Like, he can definitely play for the team to the playoffs. But after that, he might have a little more experience in winning the playoffs than Marvin did. But obviously, all he had to do was win one game. But you know what I mean? Like, he can never get him past that point anymore. I think he's kind of past his prime, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm just saying, like, he hasn't been able to get the job done except for when he took over Bill Cowher's team.
And yes, I would have McVay over him.
And that's fine. You could argue, like, I think Tomlin's solidly in the top 5, and maybe you guys can disagree. I would put him on my number 2 on my personal list, just because that longevity of success, maybe not to winning a Super Bowl every season, but what quarterbacks has he had? Even Ben Roethlisberger, we thought sucked for several years down the stretch, and he's had Duck Hodges and fucking Kenny Pickett.
What?
I know, but Kenny Pickett
Mason
was
Rudolph.
the man. According to that motherfucker Tyler Kelly, man, Kenny Pickett was the dude.
Well, that's your first problem there. So let's use Tyler Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What he has done with the teams that he has had definitely puts him in the top 5, in my opinion. I just can't personally put him number 2.
That's fine.
Then at number 3, they have Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers. So his win percentage is about 55%, 64 and 51. I think he's an innovative offensive guy.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have him over Tomlin for his career, what he's done. Like,
absolutely not. Tomlin's been in way longer. Like I said, at least Tomlin has a Super Bowl ring. And great offensive-minded guy, but no way in hell I would put him ahead of Tomlin.
Now, like in the article, it says he's had been to 3 Super Bowls as offense coordinator / head coach, but he's lost all 3. 2 of those to Patrick Mahomes and 1 of those to Tom Brady. So, I mean, he's been beat by some good guys, but till he wins one, I can't say he's upper tier. But that team is good year in and year out. Would you guys, do you view him as a top 5? He's 3rd on this list, but would you at least say he's top 5? Potentially?
Potentially, I'd have to hear who the others are. But
when we go down the list, it sounds like he could be fringe top 5 for sure. I mean, that's a good team. He's done good with them.
No, I'm not ripping on him. I'm just saying, man, he's had 2. I know Brock Purdy is.
If he doesn't get hurt, maybe they win that and they go to the Super Bowl.
Maybe.
I don't know. And
do you put Tomlin over him then? So far on the names we've mentioned, we've got Reed, McVay, Tomlin. Tomlin's 5 on this list, by the way, but we kind of brought him up early.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Right, I definitely would put him over Tomlin over Shanahan.
And then I'll just
Shanahan over Tomlin, but I can be swayed either way. That's kind of was I struggled back and forth on this one.
And then John Harbaugh's number 4 on this list. So 160 and 99. 61% win percentage for a career, almost 62%. Has won a Super Bowl when Joe Flacco had that one crazy year.
Yeah.
And they've been a good, solid team. Is he top 5? I don't know.
It's close. Top 5. No, it's close. And, you can point out this, like Chop keeps saying with Tomlin, he actually did it on his own when he's Super Bowl. And Joe Flacco, man, he did it with Joe Flacco at quarterback, too. I mean, he had a hell of a defense, but somewhat of an argument you can make right there.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that one's tough on where to place him. So I'm going to put him 5 of the 5 people we've talked about so far. But as we put these, we can kind of. So far we've got Andy Reid at number 1. You guys outvoted me and Greg. I feel like you really wanted Sean McVay up there, but that was close. Me and Greg will accept putting Mike Tomlin at 3rd, but you can forget us moving him down any further than that.
Right, exactly.
All right.
So Reid, McVay, Tomlin, and then that will play Shanahan 4th and Harbaugh 5th. So that's kind of the 5 we've talked about, the order we've got them in. And then the next one on this list is interesting because it's Jim Harbaugh.
No fucking way.
That number?
Absolutely not.
When I saw it at first, I'm like, what the fuck? But he's 44-19-1 is his career record. It's almost a 70% win percentage as an NFL head coach.
No,
and he went to a Super Bowl. Didn't win it, but went to one. And I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys that haven't been to Super Bowls on this list coming up. But I didn't realize his records were that good.
Yeah, well, I remember because they went to the Super Bowl that first year, didn't they?
With Kaepernick, who's out of the league.
So
what?
So my whole thing is, like, we still don't know what he is in this day and age in the NFL. That's what's making it really hard for me to put him as high as really being in the top half of the league. Because in my opinion, he's still unproven.
Right.
I mean, if you go on what he's done.
He left.
Yeah, but if you go on what he's done in college football, he's ran the league like it was the 90s. Run the ball
and won a national title.
No, I trust me, I get it, but I think it's easier to do that in college football than it is in the NFL. I mean, just look at it's a passing league now, and we don't know if he's going to stay true to what got him the national title, or if he's going to
a lot of passing, right?
There's so much
Herbert.
Oh, absolutely. Like, he's got the quarterback to do it, but there's so much that we don't know yet to just automatically place him in the top 10. I think is blasphemous.
I do agree.
But that win percentage, by the way, that's the highest win percentage of any active head coach in the NFL. Highest, top, number 1. Just saying. That's a strong argument.
Yeah.
For him being higher.
He's just, I understand the record 44-19, but still, he just feels unproven to me because he quit. I think at the end of this thing, honestly, what I feel about Jim Harbaugh is he's going to be sorry he left Michigan. He had it set up. He was a king of Michigan.
If he redeems himself again, redeeming himself, with the term, because he's in a damn good situation with Justin Herbert. If he redeems himself, then at the end of the year, I'd have no problem considering him for at least in the top 5.
If they go to the playoffs after they have not made the playoffs under Herbert, I don't believe, have they?
Never. No. Oh, no, they didn't. They were close.
So if they go to the playoffs in Jim Harbaugh's first year with that record, which means another winning season for him, another good season to go to the playoffs, I think you could easily make the argument after this season that he's top 5.
How about write his name and put an asterisk by it?
Yeah.
Put an asterisk by it. Well, that pissed off fucking Derek. He was like, fuck that, putting his name down. Gone.
Yeah, I did. I already wrote his name off to the side because, I mean, that's fine. Let's see what he does after he hasn't been there for a while. But the argument's strong here by Dallas.
I hope he takes that fucking team and beats the shit out of fucking Kansas City twice a year. Please. Right. I would love that.
The thing I just didn't like the thing I just never liked about the Chargers, nothing against Herbert, but I just got so sick and tired after his rookie fucking season. Everybody's like, I told you they should have taken Herbert over Burrow. I told you they should have taken Herbert over Burrow. It was just pissing me off.
I thought you were going to say that you didn't like the Chargers because by the time you got hit by lightning at church camp.
That too.
So the next guy they have on this list is Matt LaFleur. So one of those, again, that I'm like, really? But then you look at it, and his record's been 56-27. So over 67%. winning percentage.
Well, here's the thing. Am I the one that thinks the Packers got heavily ignored last year? I mean, geez, I don't think anybody realized they made the playoffs. They won a playoff game under Jordan Love. I mean, to me, Matt LaFleur, that right there proved himself to me big time, man. Starting out with, you didn't know what you were going to get in Jordan Love. You're starting over at quarterback, very high expectations in Green Bay. LaFleur really proved himself to me last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Dale. These rankings, is there any of them that are not in order from winning percentage?
No, none of them are.
They're not winning percentage?
Jim Harbaugh has the highest winning percentage.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
You said that earlier.
Yeah, I'm just giving them off because it's on here.
Personally, I have LaFleur in my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, so Reed, McVay, Tomlin. You guys keeping Shanahan above him for now?
I would have LaFleur in front of Shanahan. I would take LaFleur in front of Shanahan.
So would I.
Maybe that's crazy, but I really don't care. What LaFleur definitely had to work with. Shanahan has always had a damn good team around him. I know the quarterback situation was always a flaw of his, but he still had Purdy developed. I'm sorry, man. I would definitely put LaFleur over Shanahan.
What about you, Derek?
So my top 5, I've got LaFleur behind Shanahan and then Tomlin, and that was my top 5.
Yeah, I'm keeping Tomlin at 3, like I said, but I'm trying to do this where we end up with a certain ranking. So I think I'm with Shanahan over LaFleur for now. But if LaFleur repeats that success and with Jordan Love, but both guys have been successful without what I would consider not superstar quarterbacks. Maybe Jordan Love ends up being that, but like Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, they were in the Super Bowl with him, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So I'll put Shanahan still at 4, but I think LaFleur goes over John Harbaugh.
I do too.
He's been great. And it's an offensive league, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Next guy on the list they have is Sean Payton, who's 160-98 for his career, 62% win percentage. So he's had a good career. Based off of last year.
Hey,
I was just saying, if you asked me this 3 years ago, he would for sure be in the top 5. But man, that whole drama he went through with Russell Wilson, and
that's what
that's not fair. But because he has won a Super Bowl, he's had a good career at the Saints. I mean, he's still a top 10, but that's just that whole issue with Denver.
He's not top 10. It's over. He left. He came back, and he sucks.
Yeah.
So
he left. He came back, and he fucking sucks. How's he even on the list?
My first official thought on that was to agree with you guys, but if you don't mind, somebody go back and look at their wins last year. I think they ended up being like 9-8 and on the verge of making the playoffs, even with the craziness of Russell Wilson and everything that they had to deal with last year. So that's why I still personally have him up there.
And I think he's fringe top 10, especially with just his overall career. He has won a Super Bowl, so we talked about that mattering. We'll see if they can improve. I feel like he's got a lot of control in Denver, so a lot of this is on him.
Right.
This is one that, based on last year, it's like, oh, man, how did Russell Wilson fall off that bad? And we'll see. Hopefully Russell Wilson sucks because he's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hopefully he sucks real bad. Also, hopefully he throws the first fucking pass of the season so that that motherfucker Tyler Kelly gets my name tattooed around his left nipple.
We don't care if it's a pick 6 and then he gets benched, but throw the first pass.
Just go out there for the first play, Russell Wilson.
I think I put John Harbaugh over. Do I put John Harbaugh over Sean Payton? They both have one Super Bowl.
Yeah, I could. Experts probably won't do that. I know they probably like Peyton more, but I have no problem doing that.
Well, I just said Sean Payton shouldn't be on the goddamn list, so yes.
Right. They have Dan Campbell at number 9 here.
I will not bitch about that.
29
him up.
29 and 33.
Dude, that Lions team forever was along with Cleveland, was the joke of the league ever since I can remember as a kid. When you had Matt Millen in there drafting like 3 receivers in a row, you had a bunch of Matt Patricia. You went through a bunch. He came through a crapshoot, getting a quarterback from a team that gave up on him. I mean, he had to start from the pit, and he built that team up. So I I'm going to argue now that he's in the top 5 easily.
I don't
So
have
this
him
is
top
one-
5.
All right, top 5's pushed it, but he's definitely ahead of Sean Payton, in my opinion. Well, I know Sean Payton's won a Super Bowl, but
It's not on the list.
But we're talking now. I would take him over Sean Payton and never look back.
This was one that I personally had Zac Taylor over. So that kind of leads you to kind of where I'm thinking, and maybe that's homerism coming in, but I mean, we're talking 2 AFC championship games. We've got a Super Bowl. Yeah.
No, Derek, you're right.
They
No,
would
you're
have
right.
got to the NFC championship, but they didn't win one. So it's like we got to see it for another year. So I personally had Zac Taylor over Dan Campbell.
Dale, Derek, you make a good argument. I mean, no, because Zac Taylor got to the Super Bowl, 2 AFC championships, all that he's done. Campbell's just got to 1 AFC championship. I'm just saying the Lions were a bigger crapshoot team than the Bengals for years, but no, you're right. Taylor's had better success, yes.
I mean, everybody thought Bengals were a crapshoot, and look what happened with.
Well, but at least we made the
Everybody
playoffs
thought
with those 5 years under Marvin. I'm just saying he came into a situation where it was really that worse than the Bengals, if you can believe that or not.
If you want to look at win percentages, because I think they're both similar, right? Like in the aspect of they historically bad run, organizations,
right.
At least how the league views both of those teams, the Detroit Lions, former Portsmouth Spartans, and the Cincinnati Bengals. And his win percentage is almost 47%, where Zac Taylor is almost 46%. So very close record-wise for both of them. And they both had to build their teams up, so obviously the first year or two of them was rougher than where they're at now. Like the Lions were 12-5 last year in the regular season, so that's an incredible season. If they do that again, I think it's easier to make the argument Dan Campbell is on that fringe top 5 if they repeat this again this season, because that would be incredible to go like 12-5 2 seasons in a row with Jared Goff at quarterback.
Yeah, they're getting momentum. So if they keep the momentum going, that will prove a lot.
Well, besides the Bears, look at that division, man. I mean, the Vikings were still competitive. The Packers made the playoffs. Wasn't exactly a walk in the park division they had either.
So I've got Reed, McVay, Tomlin, Shanahan, LaFleur, John Harbaugh. We got Jim Harbaugh off to the side for now. So trying to rank Sean Payton and Dan Campbell as far as where we're at with how this list is. Did we put Dan Campbell over Sean Payton?
Yeah,
I have no
Doesn't
problem
have a
with
Super
that.
Bowl.
I understand that, but we're
still have
talking
Sean
about
Payton.
now, Dale. I get what you're saying, and it's hard, but
which
right
one
now
would
we're
you
taking
rather have as your head coach this season?
Dan Campbell.
Dan
Dan
that's
Campbell.
Yeah.
that's where it's tough, right? Because if you look at career and the Super Bowl accomplishment versus would you want this guy? Who do you want to coach your team next year? I think I'd have to go with Dan Campbell. I'd love his.
I tell you what, though, if Sean Payton turns Bo Nix around, he could say if they made the playoffs barely even with Bo Nix.
It's true.
Who knows?
And then we're right back to Sean Payton's a top 5 coach. If that happened.
Yeah. And that's what makes it really, really, really difficult with these two coaches. Is you take 1 year out, and it's an obvious answer in my opinion, but because of that last year, it's weighted so heavily, it makes it really difficult.
Yeah. So I'm going to put Campbell at 7 and Payton at 8, and that's for now. That's based on, who we've ranked. And the next one on this list at 10 is Mike McDaniel, 20-14, 58% win percentage. He hasn't really done anything.
I don't put
in the
him over
playoffs.
fucking Zac Taylor.
No,
Are you kidding me?
Where I'm like, I for sure can't put Mike McDaniel. Now I know his offense, and they put up a lot of points, and the run game is great. I get all that. I understand that.
Yeah,
but Zac Taylor has had more success.
Yeah, what has he done though? Okay, yeah, sure, he's put up great offenses. But what the hell has he done?
Greg. He says funny shit at the microphone. When he's doing his press conferences, he says funny shit sometimes. So,
well, I guess I say funny shit all the time too. Does that make me a top 10 coach?
Yes, fucking Greg. I would put you at least at 9.5 as a head coach.
Thank you.
So, I just, we'll decide where to rank Mike McDaniel in a minute. Let's talk about a couple more because I honestly, I just haven't seen enough, especially.
Someone called Dallas on the phone. I need to
playoffs.
know why he put fucking Mike McDaniel so high up on the list.
Yeah, I don't love that one. Next
Dallas.
is Kevin Stefanski with the Browns. So that's a tough one, right? Because
everything
we're saying about Dan Campbell and the Lions and everything we're saying about Zac Taylor and the Bengals, Kevin Stefanski and the Browns, hate them motherfuckers. I hate them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But his record is 37-30 and over 55% win percentage. He's been successful in a shitty organization.
No, and buddy, there's one team that comes more of a crap organization than the Lions is the Browns. No, Stefanski's done a great job, but what the hell is he? What was he on that team? I tell you what, though, when was he the coach? He was the coach at the time where what's his name had to come in for Pat Mahomes. They were this close to beating the Chiefs. They were this close to beating the Chiefs because of the AFC Championship game. But other than that, though, man, Stefanski still stayed consistent. But it's not that hard to compare to another coach. All you have to do is just coach for more than 1 year there, and you're a good coach there. I'm just saying, no way in God's hell am I ever putting him in front of
God's
Zac.
hell.
Now, Stefanski's been there, 6 years?
I don't
Five.
whatever 37-30 is 67 games. So
Yeah.
if you do the 16 and 17 games, by whatever. So about 4 seasons probably. Sounds about right.
Okay. My whole thing was you take his last 4 years and you take Tomlin's last 4 years. I would take Stefanski over Tomlin. But you've got to factor in everything.
I would.
Last year for Stefanski is the argument, right? 12 wins.
Yeah.
With Watson getting hurt. You don't have to like the guy, but was their starting quarterback. Bringing Joe Flacco off the couch to win games. Nick Chubb injured. And most of their offensive line injured, and they still pulled out 12 wins. That is an incredible coaching job, and that is why he's the fringe top 10 based on, especially on last year. That's
and Dale, I totally get that, but I don't. Yeah, if we're talking about now, I got to go back with myself. He still never made it to the Super Bowl, man. I mean, but he's doing a hell of a job there in Cleveland. Did he break that coaching cycle where 1 year and you're done? Absolutely, he did.
Yeah, I have him over Mike McDaniel.
I don't debate that. I'm not going to debate you on that.
But I think, and we're good. And Zac Taylor's next on this list, so we're going to be talking about Zac and the win percentage. Zac is 37, 44-1, so 45% winning percentage. A lot of that's the first 2 years, but that's still you've got it's not breaking down all of that for any of these coaches. So it is a lot lower than a lot of other coaches on this list. And they have him at 12th on here. I put him, we don't have Jim Harbaugh on our list, so that's automatically going to bump him up a spot. We already all agreed we'd put him over Mike McDaniel, so that's going to bump him up a spot. So is he a top 10 based on going through this as of right now? Yes. He's at the bottom of the top 10 head coaches for us, but I do think he is a top 10 head coach for everything he's accomplished here. You guys talked about it a little bit, taking us to the Super Bowl, taking us to the AFC Championship game in back-to-back years after going to the Super Bowl. And then last year, the success with Jake Browning after Burrow was injured, that's a great sign. Not a great sign that Burrow was injured, but a great sign that we were still able to be in the playoff race, win games. That shows a good culture, a good everything that Zac Taylor has built. So I think that's what kind of elevates him over McDaniel. I'd put him over Stefanski as well, in my opinion. Would you guys agree with that?
I would put him over more than that. I would probably, if I'm thinking about who I would have as my head coach, I think that Zac Taylor would be in the top 5 over that list. I would keep him over the majority of that list.
I got him at 9. I got Dan Campbell at 7 and Sean Payton at 8. What do you think, Derek, as far as that grouping?
I've got him ahead of both of them, personally. And I know Sean McVay, or not Sean McVay. I know that that's probably not the same way all y'all are thinking, but I've still got Stefanski over all those guys though.
Stefanski, I was talking about Taylor. Yeah. Taylor? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Greg? Because that's a tough here.
No, it's tough because I go back and forth because I'm like, but we're talking now. Okay, so Stefanski, I mean, like I say, I give Stefanski all the credit in the world.
Are we fucking talking about Taylor?
We're kind of talking about Taylor.
Zac Taylor.
But I'm just saying, I'm just thinking about the
Peyton, Campbell and Peyton in that tier because I think we all agree we got Taylor over Stefanski and McDaniel.
Yeah.
I look, as much as I love Dan Campbell, if we're to go in the last couple of years, I mean, I'm not going to complain or anything, but I think I'm not going to get accused of this for being just because of being a Bengals fan, but I can't do it. I like Dan Campbell. I mean, doesn't mean I hate Zac Taylor or anything.
You would rather have Dan Campbell come in and coach your team this year than Zac Taylor.
Greg likes biting kneecaps, all right?
I'm just saying there's a switch that can happen. We can make a trade, even trade. Zac Taylor for Dan Campbell this
I'll
season.
put it this way, it's a wash.
I think those are very close guys.
It's close.
In similar situations and built up two franchises to be Super Bowl contenders that were once considered laughingstocks.
I just got to tell you, wait till we
Detroit was considered that a lot.
No, Chop, man. No, Chop, look, like I say, I'm not ripping on Zac Taylor, but the thing of it is,
kind of ripping on him.
Thing of it is, though, Dan Campbell, I mean, I got to be a realist here. I mean, Larry, so if you ask me about the trade, I wouldn't
even
bid,
trade. It's up to you.
I would. Here's why I would just stay with Zac Taylor because Zac Taylor knows the system. But if we had Dan Campbell and Zac Taylor's on the Lions,
that's always going to be the choice at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, I'm going to choose Zac just because he knows the system. But if it was the other way around, we've had Dan Campbell here the last couple of years, and Zac Taylor did the exact same thing in Detroit. I would still say Dan Campbell if he was on the bench.
Zac Taylor's been to 2 AFC championships. Dan Campbell has not been to those. Last year he went to one, but he didn't go to the Super Bowl. Zac Taylor's been to the Super Bowl. Zac Taylor also went to Super Bowl before he was a head coach.
He hasn't coached as long as Taylor, right? He's a season behind him.
I agree with you. Dan Campbell still got some prove it to go to me.
If he goes back, right, like Taylor did it 2 years in a row. So if he can go back and have the success, that's why when we were talking about him, I kind of mentioned that because I think it's a huge year for him. I think it's a big year for the guy that's next on this list, D'Amico Ryans, because he only has one season. He's 10-7, but he took another franchise. He's in that same bucket as Dan Campbell.
I think they did good last year, but 1 year, your first year, your rookie year is a flash. Let's see if that sustains the next year. A lot of people start the league and they have a great fucking freshman year, and then after that, the sophomore slump, and then nothing happens. Well, I personally think they're going to do great, but let's see it.
Yeah. So you're keeping Campbell above Taylor, right?
Me?
I never said anything, but you know what, man?
That's where I'm at with
it.
And then
at Granger, can I just make 09?
I just want to make one statement. He sucked as a head coach, but Joe Philbin, who coached the offense, I was watching the old Hard Knocks. He had Dan Campbell, Zac Taylor, and Lou Anarumo on his staff. So I'm just going to say, hats off to the Joe Philbin coaching tree.
There you go. I think we can have Zac as high as around 7, right? And Jim Harbaugh may even knock him down if he has a great season like we talked about. But I think Reed, McVay, Tomlin, Shanahan, LaFleur, and John Harbaugh, as of right now, you got to rank ahead of Zac. So that's 6 guys ahead of him. You could put him at 7, but Sean Payton has a Super Bowl. And Chop, I know you say Sean Payton's not on your list, but he's on mine. So I have Dan Campbell, Sean Payton, Zac Taylor. They're all in a similar tier. You could even put Sean Payton 7th, just if you say you value the Super Bowl. Everybody's list is going to be a little different there. And then I have Zac above Stefanski, Mike McDaniel, and then D'Amico Ryans, who's next on this list coming up. So, but as far as to answer the question ultimately, Zac Taylor, top 10 head coach in the NFL right now.
Yes.
I think we all agree yes, right?
Yeah,
somewhere between 7th and 9th. And we can win a Super Bowl this year.
Right.
You're saying top 5. I could easily make the argument that he's above LaFleur and Shanahan if the Bengals win the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
Except for Greg, he loves Dan Campbell so much he changed his fucking name. Greg Campbell. What the fuck's up with that, Greg? Jesus Christ.
Why did you change your name to Greg Campbell?
GC.
Why'd you
GC,
change your
buddy.
name to Greg Campbell?
GC,
GC
bro.
Savage.
Yeah, there you
Big
go.
Savage
GC.
C.
Yeah. Big
No,
Savage.
man. Hey,
Campbell.
no. You know why? Because he's got the best quarterback in the league. My God.
Yeah, right. Your
You
favorite.
do love you
Jared
some Jared Goff. You
Why
love
do I keep saying Mike Goff? Mike Goff was a former offensive line we had in the Bengals. That's why.
It's true. They have Sean McDermott at 14. I'll just give the next couple. 73 and 41, but they haven't had the playoff success, right? That's a great regular season record.
I still think that's a little harsh, though, for him, but I get it, though.
Yeah, and maybe, if they have some playoff success and make it to an AFC championship game, because they're not making it to the Super Bowl, that'll be the Bengals. But, if he makes it to an AFC championship game, then maybe he's knocking on the door of if we have this conversation a year from now.
McDermott is definitely on the hot seat. He's definitely on the hot seat. I can tell you.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's on the hot seat, but with a 64%.
But I'll tell you this,
the
though.
playoffs.
If he got fired, he will have no problem finding a job if he got fired. I can tell you
Come
that.
work for Zac Taylor. I'd be all right with it.
Yeah.
Hey, they're all from the Jay Gruden tree of coaching anyway.
They have Doug Peterson at 15. I don't agree with that one. He's 60 and 53 for the Jaguars.
Won a Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of it. But Sirianni for the Eagles, I know they struggled a little down the stretch, but he's 34 and 17, almost 67%. Yeah, Sirianni, you got him at 6. I think Austin, you talk about the Eagles a lot. I think that's your squad.
Yeah,
beyond the Bengals. But Sirianni, I think he needs to prove it another year. If they went to a Super Bowl, but them not winning a playoff game, but they did go back. I think Sirianni could really vault up this list if we were talking about a year from now, if they have success this year. But if they don't, he's going to stay where he's at.
Tyler's got a good idea.
If they don't,
might get fired.
I was about to say, if they don't, he might get fired. I know they say Philly's a hard place to work.
Well, and that's a lot of these coaches, right? A lot of these coaches aren't with the teams that they were initially with, or they've only been in the league 2 or 3 years total. So NFL is for the coaches too, in the not for long league, just like it is the players.
Well, Sirianni, all right, who's the bigger coach on the hot seat, Sirianni or Sean McDermott?
I think they're in similar positions, just different conferences, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're both. The expectations are to get to the Super Bowl, and fan expectations are to win. Dude, if they can get to a Super Bowl.
You start out 9-0, then you go to the playoffs, losing to Tampa Bay, who barely makes it, wasn't supposed to do much. Not exactly a great visit to the owner's office.
Yeah, but the Bills, they've changed offense coordinators, all that stuff. So it's like they got no other move to make if they don't win in the playoffs. So I feel like they're both.
Where's McDermott
on
that?
seat.
Where's he at on that list? McDermott.
14th.
14.
Yeah, I can understand. I still think it's a tad bit harsh, but I understand why he's there.
Yeah.
You would say he's better than 14, Greg?
Maybe 12, 11 or 12, but maybe I don't know.
He ain't done shit though.
Kevin O'Connell is 17th, 20 and 14 record, so another guy that just needs to prove it more. But that's not a bad record to start, and I know he got some awards for having some good seasons. But Mike McCarthy, he has 62% win percentage, but has not had really the success in the playoffs. Then it's like Stain Steichen, Dan Quinn, Todd Bowles, Brian Daboll. So none of those guys really, I feel like, are worth being in the conversation.
So. The Cowboys head coach, where did you say he was again? I'm sorry.
He's down at like 18 or something here.
Yeah, I could see that. McCarthy, I thought he personally should have lost his job last year. I think he's number 1 on the list ahead of the 2 other guys we were just talking. McDermott and Sirianni is big. That's the biggest guy in the hot seat right there. Sam, not only that, with Jerry Jones, not a very patient.
We already talked about your fucking coach who can't get the job done without Bill Cowher's
But Jerry Jones, you guys know how Jerry Jones is. He's a guy that'll interfere when he has to, and that's a guy out of every owner that's the last guy whose office I want to be going to explain, trying to keep my job.
Didn't earlier we collectively took a vote. Mike Tomlin was number 32.
Yep.
Fuck you, Kelly.
He was number 2 on my list. Chop and Derek were passionate about dropping him down, so he ended up number 3 on our list. To review our top 10: Andy Reid at number 1, Sean McVay at number 2, Mike Tomlin number 3. This is trying to with all of our collective thoughts.
Right.
Kyle Shanahan at number 4. We put LaFleur at number 5. John Harbaugh at 6. 7 through 9, I don't think we ever came to a consensus. So 7 through 9.
It's a jumble.
tied for 7, 3
Tied
guys.
for 7th, right?
Dan Campbell, Sean Payton, and Zac Taylor. Because if you value the Super Bowl, Sean Payton's going to be a little higher. And then
Not this year.
I know how you feel.
It's the same as John Gruden. John Gruden was considered some spectacular football mind, and he went to the Raiders and didn't do shit. Sean Payton's the same.
And then Stefanski at 10, and then guys just off the list like Jim Harbaugh, where he's just coming back, but has the highest win percentage of any active coach. So that's impressive. If he can take the Chargers to the playoffs in his first season, I think you're having a top 5 conversation for him next year. But we want to see that first. And then Mike McDaniel, I just haven't seen enough in the playoffs. Creative offensive guy. Likes to smoke pot, it seems like, when he talks.
Yeah.
But other than that,
little skinny fucker weighs like 110 pounds, maybe too.
Yeah,
little bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
and we also revised. We also revisited that tattoo you got coming up, Kelly.
Oh yeah,
it's
when
not
Russell
forgotten.
Wilson throws the first pass of the season.
When Russell Wilson goes out there and throws the first pass as an interception, and they run it back for a pick 6, and a tear will be shed. Says he's putting Zac Taylor above those two. So.
I mean, he's putting him at 7. So I mean,
I would put him above this.
Man.
I would move him up even further than that, to be honest. But that is somewhat of a homer. But I mean, that guy's done a lot for this city too. You know what I mean? And it's not just the winning; it's like I don't know that there's any other football team in America. I don't live in those cities that has had their head coach treat the city like Zac Taylor's treated this city since he's gotten here. Zac Taylor, like from day one, just really embraced this city. And I know people come on and they say that stuff, like players come into the city and they're like, I embrace the city loves me. But this man showed it. After we beat Buffalo, he red-eyed fucking down here to take a game ball while the bar was still open. On that night, took a game ball to a bar.
No. Dude, no. Go ahead there.
I was just about to say, speaking of embracing the city, has anybody else seen the Orlando Brown commercial yet? For I think it might be AE door and window or some weird.
Damn, I just had 8 doors at my house working on my garage.
Was it Orlando Brown?
No.
Well, it's off season.
Well, some guy was well for my deck right now. The mailman stepped on top of my porch when he's not. Nobody's supposed to be stepping on my porch.
Did you tell Orlando Brown that the mailman stepped on his deck?
Yep.
Travis, where's Travis Brown at? Did he step on your little deck?
Goddamn! No, it was Travis or the mailman.
It wasn't completely hard. Your deck wasn't completely hard.
Yeah. But no, Zac Taylor, I tell you what, when I first met him one time at an event, nicest guy in the world. You could tell he was embracing the city. He was ready to get the fans back. He wanted to recruit the fans back. Nothing but respect for him.
Well, next time we see him together, I'm going to let him know that you think Dan Campbell's better.
You mentioned Orlando Brown there a minute ago, and he was on Bengal Jim's show. I saw the clip where he's talking about the best and worst style. And he said the guy with the worst aura or whatever, that word that people use that I think they use it too much and it's annoying now. But so style to me, who has the best of worst. There's a lot of guys with good style, he said, but the worst ended up being Brad Robbins. So we're gonna have to bring that up to Brad. Friday, because Brad will be joining us on Friday. Don't have the time locked down. I asked if 3:30 was okay because that's our normal time, but if not, we'll figure something out to have him on, whatever works best for him. But we do plan on having Bengals punter Brad Robbins back on the show. He was a fun guest last time.
Yeah, he was.
Showed him the mustache ride shirt, all that fun stuff. I feel like he was embarrassed looking at it, but it was a good moment. So that should be a good time having him on Friday. Like I said, not 100% sure on the time, but I will post that on Twitter and everywhere and YouTube and all that stuff. As soon as we know.
Maybe he'll wear the shirt on the show. Didn't you send him one?
Yeah, we sent him a free mustache ride shirt.
Did you send him one?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you sent him one or not.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask him at least if he got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wondered because I've sent shirts to players at the Paycor before, and I've wondered if they've got them. The one that Greg's wearing, I sent that one to Jamar.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, like I'm wearing the T one now, right? And I thought about sending it to T, but I thought, I don't know. It's kind of douchey to wear your own shirt, like your own face on
Yeah.
your shirt. It's kind of fucking weird.
Well,
So I did,
Brad's is literally like mustache rides
I
based on
know,
his,
free mustache
his facial
rides.
hair. So I don't know
Right.
how often he's wearing that around.
But like I did think
Maybe
about
he's
like
wearing it
T's
at the
mom
house.
would probably wear it. I would send one to T for his mom because she would wear it. But I
Oh,
can't-
she definitely would. I could see that.
yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we
I
still
wondered.
we still the nickname. You know, I still don't know if the nickname's ever stuck. Brad Robinstash, and I know some people he didn't. I'm sure he'll say that he probably didn't have the season that he wanted to have, and I'm sure he's hoping to have a better one this year. So I hate to even put out what would your nicknames be for Brad Robbins right now. And I have to ask him how much hate he's gotten, and if he sees that noise when he's on the show Friday, because you know you gotta block that out when you're in the NFL. Unfortunately, it's part of it. Like I'm not going to set them bag on these guys to get where they're at, no matter what position they play. Is they're top of the top, you know. So, and I think he could easily bounce back because he was a great punter at Michigan. And he wasn't awful all the time, and he's really good at pinning it down. I just feel like he didn't have a ton of opportunities to do that.
I got confidence in the man.
Pinning it inside the 20, I think, is what he's best at doing, you know?
And we got him some good competition through the free agency, right?
Yeah, the Austin McNamara, the undrafted free agent that they brought in. So that'll be a competition, and he's talked about embracing that. So
he loves it.
Yeah.
And wasn't Brad working with Shane Graham too? Friend of the show, Shane Graham, by the way.
At one point, I feel like he did. I don't know if he still has or anything like that. So not 100% sure. But yeah, still awesome that he's going to take the time out.
Yeah.
Come on the show for a little bit, chat with us on Friday. So should be a good time. Looking forward to that.
He's a good dude too, man. If you ever go to a gig and he's there, I mean, he'll spend time talking to you. He's real down to earth.
Yeah, you guys have seen him at some events.
Yeah, no,
we were walking through Great American Ballpark, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, Pork Chop?"
He recognized him.
Yeah, he asked me for my autograph. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He asked you to sign his mustache ride T-shirt he was wearing.
That's right. He was wearing his mustache ride T-shirt. Yeah, I didn't have a Sharpie on me. Sorry, Brad.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe next time, kid.
Yeah.
I'll get you next time, kid. That's what.
Yeah, I'll get you next time, there, buddy. So
All
I
right,
carry
guys.
Sharpie with me now everywhere.
I got NCAA football to play.
Ha ha!
Or college
Have you
football
played it
25. They say the old. Well, it didn't come out till 4. Man, I've been on the show. You couldn't download it. You couldn't play it till 4.
Did you start downloading it already?
Yeah, you could download it like.
Oh, but
last
you
week
can't
or
play it. It
something.
wasn't. You could download it, but it wouldn't go active.
Yeah, it says like the game is not. Whatever.
I'm gonna be playing with my dinghy.
Nice.
I gave my PlayStation to Declan, so I'm gonna have to be like, "Hey, buddy,
Still
you want to play some college football?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on. He's like, no, I just want to play Minecraft, Dad. And you're like,
Right.
damn it.
Right.
Yeah. And then you're
I'm
like,
gonna throw
fucking-
this out the fucking window.
He's like, we're playing fucking Madden. Sarah walks in like, I thought Declan didn't like football. He's like, oh yeah, let's turn that back on Minecraft, Sarah. I wasn't. It was Declan's idea.
Yeah. Declan wanted to play
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't me, babe.
You don't have to have a PlayStation 5, but you can have an Xbox X or S. It doesn't go with any of the old consoles, I don't think. Is that what you still have, Derek? Do you have like a
I got
Xbox?
PS4, yeah.
I have
Yeah.
Atari.
I don't think it's compatible with that.
I have an Xbox something.
Oh, dagger in the heart.
You
What
gotta
do you
go
got,
buy
Derek?
a whole new console, Derek.
You got an
I'm gonna have
Xbox
to buy
what?
Declan a PlayStation 5, I guess.
Yeah. Declan,
Yeah.
you want a PlayStation 5? It's an early
Hey.
Christmas gift.
It's Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Look at that. You've been such a good kid. I saw you cut the grass, Declan. Here's a PlayStation 5. Dad, I didn't cut the grass. Shut the fuck up, Declan. You cut the grass when Mom was at work.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's the
Oh,
story.
Well,
right.
I got a new bicycle in my car right now. Well, not a new one, but an old bicycle for Ashlyn. So she gets a bicycle and Declan gets a PlayStation 5.
Right, it's even.
That seems fair.
I'm telling
one
you,
gets
though,
a
man,
youth bicycle and one gets a
if you
brand new
get
PS.
if you get Ashlyn one of them American Girl dolls, it's even. Those fucking
Yeah.
little girls love them fuckers, man.
And they're expensive as hell.
Yes, I
Oh,
mean
she
not
got one.
PlayStation 5 expensive, but they ain't cheap. My kids would get them things, and by 2 days their hair be all fucked up, marker on their face and shit.
Yeah, my kids
Yeah.
were never into really the American Girl dolls. If they got any of those kind of dolls like that, it was always the ones from Walmart, the like My
Yeah.
Life ones that are like $20 instead.
Right, the knockoffs,
fucking-
man.
Yeah,
All you got to
it's-
do is
it's
buy
the same
one.
fucking thing.
You buy one American Girl doll, and you keep the fucking box. And then the next year for Christmas, you get them another American Girl doll.
That's actually pretty smart, you know.
Right?
That's a
Yeah.
It's like, do not tear that box up.
Yeah.
I will bust
Careful.
your ass if you
Let
tear
Dad
that
open the
box.
box. Let Dad open the box for you.
Facts. All right, man. There's only one way to end this show, and that's with Greg Danson. We appreciate y'all
Boom.
tuning in. We will see you on Friday. Bengals training camp coming up soon. Gonna be a
The
lot more to talk about.
Mustachio Marauder.
Maybe I'll be out there, man, broadcasting for Bruce again like I tried to last year.
Yeah, you can get service.
Yeah, good luck, right?
Yeah, I know. It's always like that on game days too. But we
Yeah.
appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah, we love you.
Hope you had a good Monday and having a good Monday. And I hope you
This will make it better right here.
look at Chop's face and
Or go to my OnlyFans and look at more than my face.
butthole pictures.
There's a couple of the chocolate starfish.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Bengals and Bruce, the podcast crew. Yellow up an orange arrow, pork chop too. Greg Luther, Big Savage, Dog Bud King, Yoshi Lover, they bring the sing. Cincinnati Bengals, the pride of the city. Join the fun with pork chop boys, man.